Essentially, I'm a dental recruiter. My sole focus is the US market, hence sort of why I want to speak to you. I've recruited in dental for going on 5.5 years now. So it sort of pulls you in as an industry, doesn't it? Stuck in it now, I've been here this long. But please introduce yourself as well.
Thank you for having me, Russell. My name is Sharon Bournes. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Engagement for National Dentex. National Dentex is the largest dental lab consortium in the United States. And we basically fabricate any type of dental restoration you can imagine, from appliances to implants to regular crown and bridge.
No, lovely. It's, I'm going to have to try and stop myself from going straight into the dental talk sometimes, because what you guys have done at National Dentex and how the business has scaled up while you've been there has been an incredible rise. It's been incredible to see. So what was it that kickstarted your career in dental?
So it's a very interesting story, because I started my career initially in TV and news media and worked as a news reporter for about 8 to 9 years. Then I transitioned to working at what was then Biomet 3i and is now ZimV, working in their communications group for dental implants and regenerative materials and abutments and restorative materials. And it was a wonderful experience. I learned so much, learned all about the dental industry, had the ability to travel the world, had the ability to meet dentists, not just the general dentist population, but also specialists such as periodontists and oral surgeons and prosthodontists, and had some really great teachers during that time in the dental field, essentially showing me surgery and showing me how abutments are placed and all of that. And it was very interesting and helped me sort of acquire a love for the dental field.
It happens fast, doesn't it? And like you say, it's time soon flies by in this sector. If you don't want to ask as well, just curiosity, how come you entered dental specifically? Was it a little bit of luck at the time, or?
That's a very good question. It actually was because in the area in which I live, Biomet 3i was a very strong and is a very strong presence here. So I knew that I wanted to work in medical device and that I enjoy the medical and the health field in particular. And Biomet 3i gave me the opportunity to enter into the industry. And it was really exciting for me as someone who had worked specifically in the media and news world since, exiting college and university, to be able to have the opportunity to enter into an industry that I, at the time, had no experience with. So it was a matter of learning quickly, what am I doing? What is this industry about? What is the segmentation? Who are these dentists and specialists? What is interesting to them? And how can I best communicate our messages as a company to these individuals?
What do you think are the main challenges you face as a woman in the industry? And what have you encountered yourself on that?
So I think the main challenges aren't really even based on a woman or a man. They're just in general. I think when you enter the dental industry, it is very important that you learn the terminology, that you learn how to interface with the segmentation. So in other words, the dentists and the specialists, and immediately, because these are very busy individuals. They are helping people restore their smiles every day. They're conducting a very important healthcare service to the population. They don't have a lot of time to teach you from the ground up what it is they're doing and why they would be interested in hearing about whatever value you bring to them at that particular moment. So it was difficult at first because I had no experience with dental implants or abutments or crowns or bridges or any of that. And I had to make a conscious effort to learn. I read a lot of books, I was online, I attended numerous surgeries and procedures, numerous conferences, numerous forums. That's really the best way to dive in. There isn't much time to get up to speed, if you will. You really have to, and I believe that's probably the case with any industry that you enter that's in the healthcare field. You really have to make a conscious effort, especially if you didn't come from that field initially, to learn as quickly as possible.
I think it's such a clinical product as well, the product you're working with at the time, and the clinicians are so experienced that they can really tell if you don't know what you're talking about as well. I've noticed that straight about myself. It's steep learning curve at the start.
Yeah.
I think you gain a lot of respect straight away as soon as they can tell that you know the industry, and that's something I've been proud of myself that I've learned pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
using online now is a great tool, isn't it? We can just research literally anything with the tools we've got.
Well, you're actually very unique in that you have 5.5 years of experience in dental. I know this isn't a question for me, but just for you, you're incredibly valuable to your organization, because once you understand what is important to these organizations and these manufacturers in the industry, it makes you a very effective recruiter, because they you know what they're looking for. They're not looking for somebody who necessarily was involved in selling air conditioning units or marketing air conditioning units. They're looking for someone who can at least understand the patient life cycle and the dentist or dental clinician life cycle. So I think that makes you very, very effective the longer you're in it, for sure.
Thank you. And it's you're right. I think the big thing there is I know a lot of recruitment friends in sort of the wider medical devices or healthcare, and they see dental as, oh, it's dental. But the differences within it, you think of like the implants is a great example. I've recruited for a lot of implant manufacturers, and outsiders might think, oh, someone else in dental sales will be perfect for that. But there's so many different categories even within it, the nuances, and like say, knowing where best to find someone that makes a big difference. So why do you think there's a lack of women in the dental industry, and what do you think can be done about that?
So there actually are quite a few women in the dental industry. The areas that I've seen more women populate the roles are in education, marketing, and I have worked with some clinical directors who are female. I think in general, when people think about dentistry, they don't really understand, if they're not in the business, how vast and interesting this landscape is. They think, well, if I get into dentistry, I'm going to be working in a dental office. I'm going to be helping people spit into cups, spit fluoride into cups, or what have you. They don't realize in the general population that dentistry encapsulates labs, dental implants, which are fascinating, regenerative materials, crowns, bridges, composites, resin. There are so many areas in the dental industry that are evolving and are exciting and interesting. Especially, and this should resonate, given that I worked in the news business where I was covering exciting things all the time. For me to say that I think that the dental industry is interesting and evolving and exciting. I think that we need to do a better job in the dental industry of making these positions and these roles exciting to individuals who may not have necessarily a dental background, but who want to market, sell, design, engineer, if you will, the next generation of tools and services and products and devices that will help people regain their smile and their ability to eat. I mean, if you think about it as a human being, really, our ability to smile, our ability to eat, those are two very important aspects of what we do every day. And dentistry is all about that. It's all about enabling patients to resume their life. It's really all about the patient. So when you realize that, and then obviously the digital dentistry component, that we are now evolving into a digital workflow and catering the restorations to the patients and to their anatomy and to what is best for them, and also to what is best for the dentist, faster, more accurate, expedited dentistry. And in some cases, even dentistry via Zoom or Teams, that's exciting. Not all industries, whether they be healthcare or not, are evolving that quickly and have that much opportunity and potential. So I think that women would be more inclined to apply for these roles, to be a part of this, revolution, if you will, if they realized how exciting and how many opportunities there are for them in the industry.
Have you had any female mentors that helped you on your way?
I have. And I'm going to answer this question in a strange way, so bear with me. I've had incredible female mentors in my career. I started working for a female manager who was amazing. I've worked for a female CEO who taught me a lot. And I believe that that certainly helped me feel like I could be successful in this industry. However, I will tell you that some of the greatest mentors I've had from a female perspective have been members of my own team. I've hired, and my companies I've worked for have hired great individuals to work on the marketing teams, to work on the education teams, and the different teams that over my career I've overseen. And these women have been amazing teachers to me, because they've helped me become a better manager and a better partner to them in our effort to be successful for the organization. And they all have different challenges in their backgrounds. Some are single mothers, some have health issues, some have personal things that occur, and they honestly are amazing in the fact that most of the women I've had on my teams over the years have been able to be extraordinarily professional, and at the same time very good from a professional communications perspective, good with other people, good with their own teams, good with the dental professionals they dealt with. So I've had amazing men on my team as well, and I still do. I have a great team today. So they also inspire me, I'll be honest, the women as well. But if we're talking specifically about the women, just amazing women on my teams. Amazing.
I love that. And if I may, just out of curiosity, have your teams and the companies you've been in, have they been a strong mix between males and females in the team? Has it been weighted one way or the other? Because I know the 2 tenures you've had have been quite long in the companies you've been with.
Yes, it's a mix. You're gonna laugh maybe, or perhaps you'll be a bit surprised, because we want more women to work in the dental space. There have been more women than men on my teams, not because I'm hiring women purposefully, but because the type of work that I've been involved in, the marketing, the education, the communications piece, the marketing strategy piece, for my roles in particular, I have seen more women, but I do have men on my teams as well. And the nice thing is that it's not really a big issue. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not even a thing.
Yeah.
We all just work together as a team. And that's something that's very important to me, is to work in partnership. And I think that women coming into the industry will see that. It's not that we've got women in the industry and men in the industry and they all work separate. They work together. And because truthfully, the dental field can be difficult, and understanding what dentists want and how to best reach them and how to best serve them can be difficult. The groups work together beautifully. They really do. And I really love this industry. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's been a real thrill to see some of the things that you work so hard on come to fruition.
How do you look to find a balance between work and life?
It's a challenge. It's something that you have to work at. Obviously, family life it's extremely important. I think National Dentex has been a great organization to help individuals, even at a high level, find a good balance between family and work life. I mean, we work very hard, don't get me wrong, but it's very important as an individual and as a woman that you set boundaries for yourself. So, for example, you leave your office, you keep your phone on for a little bit, but then you set it aside, you turn off the ringer, and you spend time with your family for dinner, for family time, for just maybe even watching TV on the couch. It's very important that people have a very clear demarcation line between work and their personal life. I've seen individuals who don't do that, and they burn out very quickly. And it's also a complete misconception that you cannot have a family life and grow in your current role. In the current job I have, I was hired in as a product manager, and I'm now a vice president of marketing 6 years later. Some people might think that's crazy, like, how did that happen? I've worked hard every year that I've been at National Dentex, as have all the other women and men who I work with. But it is very important to me that my family also get a part of me every day. And I believe that it has helped me be resilient and really be able to focus and have passion for my job, because I have a good balance. I think women in dentistry in this industry can have that. I think that's actually a benefit of this industry. Many, if not all of the women I have met in my career in dentistry have very even lives. they have their work life, and they have their personal life. And I would say, especially for women who may be, recently a mother or who feel the pressures of home, this is a very good industry to get into, because you will find that there are more often than not companies that are willing to be patient in terms of if you have maternity leave or you have leave for what have you, for any types of circumstances. They're patient, they're understanding, and they accept the work-life balance. There are other industries, I'm not sure if that's as prevalent. I have friends in all different kinds of industries, and I've heard of some of my colleagues working till 9 o'clock at night and they don't get home to see their kids. And I feel terrible for them, because life is short and, we're not on this planet forever. So priorities and setting boundaries are very important. And you can do that and still be tremendously productive and successful. Yes.
What accomplishments so far in your career are you most proud of?
Throughout my career, I've been involved in and collaborated with individuals on probably hundreds, if not close to thousands, of product service launches. And it really is quite exhilarating to see those products and services in use years after you either came up with the name or the marketing strategy or the pricing. It's really quite exciting to see that. So that is definitely that's a type of accomplishment that always gives me a little boost of excitement. But I will tell you, the biggest accomplishment that I gain, excitement or happiness over is watching the people who have worked on my teams grow, evolve, and either take positions in other organizations at higher levels where I know I had a small piece of helping them evolve and grow, or helping them grow within my own organization. It's really, I think the biggest gift you can give anyone professionally is to offer them a little bit of professional value that will help them be able to achieve greater, command greater salaries or achieve greater positions or be able to professionally expand their horizons. So that to me is the type of accomplishment that makes me feel really good. There will always be another product launch. There will always be ways to drive additional revenue for your organizations. And that, of course, if I'm responsible for something, so for example, I'll give you an example. When I started at National Dentex, one of the things that I was made responsible for is the business development for our implant fabrication group and business. And I was able, with partnership of our sales teams and great partnerships from the implant company representatives, drive great amount of value. We grew many percentage points together. And as co-partners, I guess you could say, or collaborators, both companies on a lot of levels made quite a bit of revenue. That's absolutely exciting. And, you're like, the competitive person in you gets really excited, right? So that's like the traditional way of feeling accomplished. But the longer you do this and the more you manage people and the more you meet people, you want to help them grow. Because it helps the company, because they're getting better and they're offering value. But then it's also helping them, be more successful. And you feel like a little piece of what you've offered to them from a mentoring, coaching, professional perspective follows them and is a part of their success. So in essence, you're contributing to success of numerous people over the span of your career. And really, that's what people remember. They do remember that you helped grow revenue from 2% to 8% or what have you. But what they remember more is that you helped the company be successful because you helped its individuals grow and achieve great things on their own, which cumulatively, I think, leads to the best and the most successful companies. One thing I would like to say is that it's in dentistry and the roles I've had, my managers, my mentors gave me opportunities when I wasn't necessarily like on paper the perfect person for that. They didn't know when they promoted me to a director of marketing for the entire company. Is she going to, had I been a director of marketing at 15 companies before that? No, I'd been a director of marketing communications, which, as you know, is a different type of role. Can she transition from a communications perspective to a strategic marketing perspective, where you're now really considering pricing and the segmentation, et cetera? And they had faith, because this is an industry where you learn very quickly whether or not someone is going to be able to make it. And so for women considering this industry, get your foot in the door, get into the organization. There's no doubt that if you're talented and smart and you get along well with people and you understand dentistry to some degree, you will be considered for additional roles, even if you don't have 15 years of dentistry under your belt. If you know how to be successful and learn and evolve and be flexible and nimble, which is very important in this industry, you'll be successful. For women considering this field or interested in becoming a member of the dental community in whatever aspect of business they're involved in, the wonderful thing about the dental industry is that it is very varied. It's very varied. You come in a certain role, and that's the role that you are evaluated on, obviously. But if you have additional talents, abilities, skills, the chance to move into other areas is very prevalent and available to you. I came into the industry as a marketing communications individual. Since then, I have led education. I have led customer account management. I have led business development for implant restorations. I've been able to lead aspects of sales. To date, I oversee marketing for 2 different divisions under National Dentex. I oversee the marketing for National Dentex as well as West Coast Dental Labs. So it's just been a wonderful ride. It's been incredibly exciting, and it allows you as a professional to grow. Because if you just do one thing always for the rest of your career and you never try additional things, you're really limiting yourself professionally. So this industry gives you an opportunity to become more versatile and to help you professionally grow by being involved in different aspects of marketing, different aspects of sales, different aspects of customer management and customer experience.
Journey.
So it's the customer journey, exactly, and it's all about the customer journey. If you know how to work with your dentist to make their journey and their patients' journeys better, you will be successful.
Have you been given any advice throughout your career that's had a really big impact on you?
Yes, I think the best advice I've ever received in my career is don't sweat the small stuff. As a person who deals predominantly today with problems all day long as a vice president, I mean, essentially any vice president, I would think, has the majority of their day involved in problem resolution, helping to find answers for things that are missing, mentoring and coaching their teams, developing the strategy for how you proceed forward. I would say that it's very important to not sweat the small things. There will be problems. There will be challenges. Everything can be resolved with a clear head, a clear mind, and step-by-step resolution. If you're able to think clearly and go through the day with an understanding that things are not going to be perfect every day, you will be successful. Some of the younger managers I've worked with, some of the younger, specialists or coordinators, they get very upset when something doesn't go exactly as planned. I think predominantly because their manager probably makes them feel afraid that if they make a mistake, they're going to get fired or they're going to get in trouble, all of those different things. I think it's important for women in dentistry to realize that mistakes will happen. You will stumble. It's just the way life is. Don't worry about it. Fix it as best as you can and try not to make the same mistake twice. That's the best advice I've been given. Don't sweat the small stuff and try not to make the same mistakes over and over again, because then you're just repeating the fallacy that got you to that point to begin with. If you can learn from your mistakes, if you can have a clear mind, not get super stressed out, calmly work your way through whatever the situation that you're encountering is, especially with dentists and dental professionals, because they've got patients in the chair, and when something goes wrong, they can get concerned, flustered, upset. Understand that. Understand that it's not a personal attack on you. It's that they have the well-being of a patient, of a person in their chair on their shoulders. It's their responsibility. So they're expecting you as a person involved in whatever dentistry you're collaborating on to have the answers or to help them resolve the issue. If you can do that, you will be successful. One of the things they never tell you ever, if you grow organically and you're not like, hired in at that role let's say you were a director at one job and then you were hired in as a VP at another job. If you organically grow into that role, and I've talked to other women who say the same thing, no one tells you that the majority of your day is going to be dealing with problems, issues, crisis resolution, customer resolution, internal team member resolution, strategy resolution all day long. So literally there are days where, and this is not unique to me, I know this, but there are literally days where I come in the morning and I have what my day is supposed to be, and it doesn't turn out that way because there's situations that require leadership and decision making and problem resolution and listening. That's a big one. Listening.
I think you're describing my managing director Chris's day every day, to be fair. It echoes exactly how it seems for him. He uses the term firefighting a lot. I'm firefighting.
Yes.
Doing this.
Yes.
So, yeah. We'll get on to that other important thing tomorrow then. Is there any advice you'd give specifically to young women looking to get into the industry?
Yes. Just realize that your career is not going to be a straight line. I think that we believe when we start in the business that we're going to start here and then we're going to be promoted here and then we're going to be promoted here. And it's not like that at all. Careers are very winding, and you may find yourself doing something that you didn't anticipate that you'd be doing. And you may find that at times your position might be eliminated, which is unfortunate. Other times you might find that you're getting promoted into something that you're not quite sure you are 100% qualified for, but you're going to go for it, and you should. Your career will be a winding path. It will not be a straight line, and that's okay. That is really how these things go. We're led to believe that everything is very, in school and in graduate school or what have you, we're taught that everything is very structured. You start here, you move here, you move here. But in reality, it just doesn't work that way. You find that your career will surprise you, your career will excite you, and your career will take you places that you never thought when you left university that you would go. I remember at one point I was in the Dominican Republic sitting, with a lady in a dark room in the middle of a hurricane, thinking, wow, I never thought I would be here when I was in school learning about business communications. It wasn't so. And the same thing with dentistry. I mean, I never thought I would get the opportunity to travel France and get to see places in Paris as a marketing manager for a dental implant company. But you get the opportunity to travel the world, especially if you work for, multi-country, multinational organizations. And there are a lot of them in this industry. So just know that no matter where your career is taking you, it's okay. You will, as long as you're persistent and as long as you don't give up and you push forward, you will achieve great things. It's just staying on the path and not being afraid to try something new, not being afraid to do different things.
I think you're a great example of that as well. One thing I love that you mentioned from your past company to now is you reached a director level title and progressing very well in that role. It seems like you had multiple promotions to get to that title at the time. And it looks like you took almost a little bit of a risk and a chance to decide to do what you wanted to do, what you love to do, in taking that strategic approach, moving into product management as well as just the communication side. And it seems from a recruiter point of view that I'd want any candidate I work with to follow their heart in terms of what they can get out of a role, not just the titles are stepping in a perfect order. With that, like you say, nothing's linear. It shouldn't be. I think there's different paths that can take you on different adventures depending on what suits you, what you're looking for.
Yes. I think that as professionals, we believe that we're only good at this and that we should focus on this, whatever this is. And you should absolutely take chances. and you should absolutely try different things. I had no idea how much I would love business development, product management, the sales and pricing aspects of things, the customer experience and customer journey, because initially all I did was the communications piece. I was responsible for the brochures, the PR, the social media, the digital marketing, the e-commerce, built an entire e-commerce platform at Biomet 3i when I worked there. So you kind of set yourself up for, well, this is really what I'm good at, and this is what I should keep doing. But then when you take a chance and you try something else, my passions actually are in the basic marketing, the 5 Ps and the strategy. And I love business development, and I love, customer relationship management. So you learn that by trying different things. And as this is something personally I can share with you, that I made this mistake for a long time in my career, thinking that the only thing that I could be involved in was the marketing communications piece. And finally I said, I want to do something more. I know I have more in me to be successful here. So I did. I took a step back and tried product management respectively for the first time, and then learned from that point on that, wow, this is something that I think is just excellent. This is so exciting to be responsible for an entire product or an entire service, and to drive it from conception to, go to market, and then beyond that to track it and see how it does, and to continue to cultivate this. That was just a huge thrill. And actually, in hindsight, something I think I'm actually better at than communications. So because I'm more passionate about it, and I have more interest in strategy and the future of the company. So yeah, this is something that I think a lot of people, they make that mistake. I'm only good at product marketing. I can't do anything else. Or I'm only good at communications and I can't do anything else. In dentistry in particular, it's so versatile that you will have the opportunity to try other things. You will have opportunities to do other things and grow in other directions. And that's the most exciting part of it for me.